Hello everyone, and welcome back to Occult Perspectives. Hope you're having a great day or night, wherever you are. I actually just got off of work myself, so I'm about to do a really short video. If you are new to this YouTube channel, what I do on here is I break down different esoteric research subjects, such as Freemasonry, Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, the Tree of Death, ceremonial magic, you name it, we talk about it. The topic of this video I wanted to be about, I've wanted to do this video for a little while now and talk about it. The symbolism of Batman, the Batman series. This includes the comic books, the movies. We're just going to kind of take a look at some of the general symbolism. We're not going to dive too deep into the lore of Batman. Even though I've been a fan of Batman my entire life, there are literally so many Batman stories and so many Batman comics that it's really hard to keep track of all of it. There are a lot of different versions of Batman, so basically what I'll be doing is I'll be summarizing kind of what the overarching theme is in all of these different Batman series. So just Batman in general. We'll go ahead and cover that. I can never get my hair to cooperate, especially when I don't take a shower in the morning. All right, let's go on a walk, shall we? Hopefully the camera will flip around and it won't stay sideways. All right. Sometimes it's a little easier for me to record a video if I'm, walking or moving around. Last night I did a video, just sitting in my room. So really it depends on where I'm at energetically at the moment. Usually when I'm off work, I try to keep the energy moving if I can. I tend to want to get things done right after work if there's something that needs done or I want to accomplish something. Using the momentum, of that energy that I've been building up for 8 hours, and instead of just like going and like sitting down and just releasing everything right away, I'll try to use that built up energy to, achieve something. Okay, so Batman symbolism. Let's get into it. The symbol of the bat itself. So when we look at the animal of, a bat is nocturnal. So it's dealing with the darker aspects of self, darker aspects of initiation. So some say the bat is even one of Lilith's emblems. You have the whole connection with vampires and bats. So that's kind of an interesting thing to take into account. But overall, the major symbolism there, I think, is that the bat is nocturnal and it functions in the night. And Batman also works in the night. He works in the dark. He doesn't really do his stuff during the day. And he stays in the Bat Cave. Now, as we know, in dark initiations, there's the Cave of Lilith, which is the beginning of your journey in the Qliphothic tree. There's also the allegory of the cave with Plato. So, you have a different couple examples of symbolism there when it comes to the cave in Batman. We talked briefly there about the symbolism of the bat, it being an animal which has heightened perceptions, heightened energetic states in the night, in the nighttime. So Batman, he's doing most of his crime fighting at night. Also, the word Gotham sounds very much like Gothic. Gothic architecture, Gotham, it's always really dark looking there. So I think that's kind of what they're alluding to with Gotham, is it's Gothic, it's dark. So all this dark symbology surrounding Batman. and he's the Dark Knight. He's not the White Knight, he's the Dark Knight. So he's not the hero that's like all shining blazes and glory and stands in the noonday sun. No, he's the hero, he's the benevolent one, but he does his work from the shadows. So he's working with darker energies to do the great work. Who is Batman really? Well, Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne is a billionaire. He's a guy with limitless wealth. And what does this guy do? Does he selfishly, spend his days away, just partying and whatnot? No. I mean, he does party sometimes, but really that's more just a front. Very similar to like Francisco d'Anconia in Atlas Shrugged. Because we all know he was really a genius and a true soul at the end of the day. Same with Bruce Wayne. He chooses, even though he could just go and retire and do whatever the hell he wants to, he chooses to fight crime. He chooses to help, quote unquote, save the city. Now, my son, he loves to carry Batman DVDs around, and he's obsessed with Batman. And a lot of the times he'll just carry the DVDs around. He doesn't even put them in the Xbox to play them, but sometimes he will. And he played a special features disc once, and they were talking about how the trauma of Batman, if you don't know the origin story of Batman, how he became Batman, his parents were brutally murdered. And it was that trauma which essentially initiated all the events of Batman's life. Everything that he does crime fighting wise is linked to that event, that traumatic event from when he was a child. So in a sense, he was initiated almost like into a dark, almost Qliphothic initiation from that moment henceforth. And all of these villains, the Joker, the Riddler, and a lot of the times you'll notice they have they're almost like comedic, like the Joker. There's the fool archetype. The Riddler kind of falls into that fool archetype. The villains are not very serious. They're always kind of like loony and really not linear thinking, not straightforward, where Batman's real cold and calculated and cruel. And he's repressing all these emotions because Batman has to suffer. It's weird. He has to be that good shepherd. Even though he's the Dark Knight. Ugh, I just walked straight into a spider web. Ugh. Wasn't paying close enough attention. Ugh. I just grabbed something too. I don't even know what that was, if it was a spider itself, but it seemed hard. So I don't know, that was weird. But anyway, that's what happens when you're out in the woods sometimes. So these different villains, they represent aspects of Batman's, their externalized traumas, or the shadow aspects which he is repressing within himself from the trauma which he experienced when his parents died, if that makes sense. So the villains are like almost like shadow reflections of himself, but they're the repressed parts of himself which he had to repress in order to survive, and he has to quote unquote suffer. They were talking about it in that documentary. If Batman was to ever heal, if he was to actually come into alignment with his higher self and heal the inner child completely, Gotham would basically be fucked. So he kind of has to, if he wants to be the savior or the good shepherd of the city, he has to kind of accept that trauma and go forward and fight crime. Now, we know on a deeper occult level that, if he were to go inward and do that complete healing process, he may not ever have to be Batman again. And that's been a thing in a theme in some of the movies and stuff, like, oh, he's wanted to give up the cape, he's wanted to give up the Batman. And there is a comic series where he retires for a while, and it's The Dark Knight Returns, I think is what it's called. I haven't completely finished that series, but I'm almost done with that one. So Batman could retreat from Gotham. He could heal his inner child, and then Gotham would have to find another protector. So everyone in the city needs to do their own inner work at that point, not depend on a savior to save them all the time. So, but anyway, that's just kind of a quick rundown of how trauma from, stored in the nervous system of Batman from when he was a kid basically initiated this whole dark initiation that is his life, essentially. He's having to fight these different aspects which are mirrored outside of himself as those damaged, wounded, repressed aspects of self in these villains. And remember, these villains, they usually have trauma too. So the Joker, I know in one version of the story, he's just a normal guy, has a normal job, and he's trying to make money for his wife, and he ends up joining these like gangsters essentially to go and commit a crime. But then he finds out his wife died that morning, and they're like, "Oh buddy, you already agreed to do this crime, so you're going to do this crime for us." And he ends up falling in the chemical, whatever, bath or whatever, when they're trying to escape from committing this crime. And then that's when he becomes Joker. So every character has like a kind of a rough, I think that's pretty much what I ran into last time. I don't know if you can see the spider right there. It's literally right in front of the camera though. There it is. See it walking across there? They almost look like they have something on their backs, and I don't really know what that is. So yeah, I think I've pretty much covered the general rundown of Batman. What some of the deeper symbolism kind of behind all of this stuff. The villains being reflections of Bruce Wayne's inner wounded child. You've got Mr. Freeze, Freeze being frozen emotions, trauma, frozen, and he's, trying to heal his wife. That's the whole reason he turned evil. Like, his story is pretty tragic too. So, yeah, there are instances in the show where they make Egyptian references to like Egyptian deities. I know there's like a necklace of Isis or something. I saw something to do with Horus or something to do with Osiris. They usually use that symbolism with artifacts or jewelry in the show or the comics. Valuable items that the criminals are quote unquote after. So yeah, I'm really trying to think if I missed anything. Bruce Wayne, the nature of the villains, the nature of him having to be the good shepherd. But really, he's a Dark Knight, so he's often viewed as the enemy by the ones who need him the most. And yet he's still willing to make the sacrifice to be the good shepherd. So I think that's something that's like really interesting too. Because, those who truly do good deeds, they don't need to be known. That's a lot of days you see people, they do good deeds, but then they want like attention for it. So it's always going to be a lot more profound if you can just do good acts and, you don't have to reveal who you are. You don't have to talk about it all the time. Doing good for good's sake, and that's kind of what Batman's all about. We talked about the Joker and the Riddler kind of being the fool archetype, but like the darker aspect of the fool. Not so much the innocent and joyous side of it, although they do exemplify that to a degree, but more so just kind of like trippiness and silliness and not linear thinking, where Batman, he's very linear, he's very cold, he's very calculated. So you can tell that he's repressing a whole bunch of stuff, but again, we said that he has to do that in order to be the good shepherd for the town, or for the city of Gotham. So yeah, I'm trying to think over any more Batman symbolism that I wanted to cover, but you can pretty much take what I've talked about in this video, and then you can apply it to what you already know about Batman, and then you might start to see what I'm talking about. I know that in one of the Batman games, I don't remember which one, I want to say it was Arkham Knight, maybe. One of the guys, Scarecrow, literally says, like, we are aspects of your unconscious or subconscious mind, Batman. So some of these villains are very aware of the role that they play as the negative polarity, you know, charge to the equation. They come in and they bring the chaos or the catalyst, which always brings evolution to a degree, but there's also, you know, destruction and whatnot too, that breaking down component of things. Oh, I like Batman because he doesn't actually have like supernatural powers per se. He, you know, relies more on, you know, gadgets and just his actual, you know, he's a normal human, or quote unquote normal mortal, so to speak. But he's very godlike in the things that he does and, you know, the things that he exemplifies. So showing how a normal man can become like a god, or vice versa, a normal woman could become a goddess, you know, same thing. So yeah, I'm just trying to think if I have any last thoughts about some of the symbolism that I wanted to talk about. You know, you could look at the Penguin too and his trauma. The Penguin was abandoned by his parents because he was so ugly and stuff, and that's enough to make somebody a villain, you know. So you have to kind of feel sad for some of these villains, because it's not completely their fault that they are the way they are, but they didn't really have to choose to do the things that they did. So there is that to take into consideration as well. So, but yeah, I can't really think of too much else to say in regards to the symbolism of Batman. I think that pretty much covers it. If I think of anything else, I might leave it down in the comments in this video. If you guys think of anything else, if any of you are big Batman fans or anything, as my son calls him, he can't quite say Batman yet, he says Gagum. Batman, Gagum. He's hilarious. I love that little dude. So, alrighty everyone, I think I will go ahead and end the video here, and I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. If you found value, you know, if you got value from this material, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube page. Make sure to like the video and ring the notification bell for to be notified of new videos. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon as well. I have the link for that in most of my videos and on the description to my YouTube channel. So, peace and blessings, everyone, and until next time, see ya.